While every team across the NFL struggles with injuries, there may be no team struggling more right now than San Francisco. McCaffrey remains out with Achilles tendonitis, and their backup in Jordan Mason just sprained his AC joint against the Seahawks. While this amount of carnage in the backfield would usually result in your season being ended, it appears San Francisco may have found their future running back in this most recent draft class in Isaac Guerendo. Against the Seahawks, for instance, he had 99 yards and averaged 9.9 yards a carry. And you really couldn't ask more from him from a build standpoint. He comes in at 6 foot, weighing 220 pounds, but most impressively, he ran his 40-yard dash in 4.33 seconds. So in this video, I want to break down his most recent performance against the Seahawks as well as his career up to this point to really understand the player San Francisco is getting. Initially, we're going to start out looking at this insane 76-yard from Isaac. On this play, Kyle Shanahan is going back to the basics with an outside zone run. The blocking on this play has the lineman stepping play side getting vertical. Then the back on this play is reading outside in, and as Guerendo gets this ball, he clearly sees Baker over pursuing and bounces it inside, but he doesn't stop there as he's also doing all the small things right. As he gets closer to the line of scrimmage, for instance, he covers this ball up to really ensure that it can't be punched out. Then he shows off insane contact balance and nearly gets up to his 4.33 speed instantly. And I know he eventually went down on this play, but after the game, he said he slid because the sideline was telling him to go down. I kind of want to know what you guys think down below. It's hard for me to tell. Outside of this massive run though, Guerendo really impressed me the most with the vision he played with in this game. Entering the league, I thought he really struggled to make the right cuts and often tried to bounce outside far too often. But since then, we've just seen continual refinement out of his game. On this 3-yard run, for instance, he sees it being contained on the outside, so he bounces it back inside and just picks up those grimy yards. I know 3 yards doesn't seem like a lot or impressive, but in the past, I think he would have tried to bounce outside on this play and probably lost a couple. In a similar way on this play, Guerendo does an excellent job of bouncing it back inside. Here San Francisco is running a split zone concept with Juice coming across to kick out the end. Then as soon as he sees the over pursuit from zero, he kicks it back inside, showing off great footwork along the way, and I love how he's finishing these runs violently. And even when San Francisco's offensive line didn't have the best blocks, Guerendo showed the ability to turn nothing into something. On this outside zone run, for instance, both Pooney and McKivitz are struggling to drive their men down the field, so Guerendo has to bounce it outside and breaks not one, but 2 tackles along the way, and if you're going to finish a run, might as well do it violently. So based off Guerendo's limited film, it really does appear San Francisco has the perfect back for their offense, and if he's able to continue to develop, he may be one of the best backs in the entire league. This is even more so the case when you look at his career up to this point. He's still just pretty raw as a running back. When we were first introduced to Guerendo, for instance, he was playing receiver at Avion High School in Indiana, not running back. And it wasn't like he was terrible. As a senior, he had 1,258 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns, and he was ranked as a 3-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports. Coming out of high school, he had numerous offers, but he ultimately did decide to commit to Wisconsin. And in my opinion, this really hampered his development as a player. He switched to running back and then struggled to find playing time over more experienced backs. So during his career at Wisconsin, he was primarily used as a kick returner and rotated in as running back. He played in 27 games and accumulated 582 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. And while this isn't terrible, Guerendo did realize he needed to show more to be drafted, so he transferred to Louisville for 1 year, and the results were phenomenal. On the year, he amassed over 1,200 scrimmage yards and 11 touchdowns, but maybe most impressive was the way he was doing that. He was much more decisive than ever before in his career, and it appeared every single down he was just improving as a player, so he was truly an ascending prospect entering the league. So he decided to enter the 2023 NFL Draft, and at the Combine, he came in at 6 foot, weighing 221 pounds, and ran his 40-yard dash in a blistering 4.33 seconds. And while scouts loved how Guerendo looked like he was built in the lab for the position, they still were pretty unsure the player he actually was. Sure, he had a great breakout year at Louisville, but before that, he did little. And then when you turned on his tape, he often would bounce it to the outside far too often. And in large part, this was a big reason why he fell to San Francisco in the 4th round. And to me, this is the perfect marriage between coaching and a player. Guerendo definitely needs the coaching of a guy like Bobby Turner, who has coached Hall of Fame players like Terrell Davis. And then he also has guys like Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason to lean upon. So while Isaac Guerendo definitely had a great breakout game against the Seahawks, I think this is just the start of what he's going to do in this league. He's really at the beginning of his development, and I'm excited to see what Bobby Turner can do with him. But ultimately, these are just my thoughts about Isaac Guerendo's breakout game, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you could like and subscribe, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.